Hello, grade 7. Today, inshallah, we are going to study lesson 4.2, which is constant rate of change. In this lesson, we are going to study what if the relation represent a proportional relationship or not. So let's take an example. It takes a giant tortoise 3 seconds to travel 10.5 inches. Then the tortoise to move for 3 seconds, it will travel 10.5 inches. Then we can draw a diagram to represent this relation. The diagram shows the rate at which the tortoise moves, determine if the tortoise is moving at a steady pace, and we have to explain. So at the beginning, we will draw the diagram, and in this diagram, I'm going to divide the diagram into 3 parts because he said 3 seconds and I have the total distance is 10.5. So we can say that G can move in 3 seconds. We will divide it 10.5 divided by 3, which means in the first second it moves 3.5 inches, and then the other 1 second it's 3.5. If you will divide 10.5 minus 3.5, then the answer it will be equal 3.5 to find the distance at the third second. So we said that we draw. He asked to make the diagram, show the rate of which the tourists moves. So we said that we have to divide this into 3 parts, and each part will represent 1 second. So the diagram showed that the tourists moved 3.5 inches each second. So it's moving at a steady pace. What unit rate is represented in this diagram? When we look at the graph here, so we will find that the unit rate is 3.5. If I want to complete this table, we said here we are going to put the time, and down we are going to put the distance. The time it will be after 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds, and so on. Then in 1 second, the tourist moves how many inches? So the tourist moves 3.5 inches in 1, and then 7, and then 10.5. If I want to find 4, so it will be 4 times 3.5. If I want to find 5, it will be 5 times 3.5, and so on. For each column of the table, write a rate that compares the distance and the time. Put the distance in the numerator and the time in the denominator. So we are going to say that the distance it will be in the numerator and the time it will be in the denominator. So it will be 3.5 divided by 1, 7 divided by 2, then 7 divided by 2, it will be 3.5. Third second, it will be 10.5 divided by 3. The answer it will be 3.5, and then 14 divided by 4 equal 3.5, and the last one. What do you note here? What do you note about the decimal form of the rates? So the decimal form of the rates, the first one 3.5, 3.5, then they are equal. How do you think the distance the tourist travels is related to the time? The relationship is constant. Suppose the tourists traveled for 12 seconds. Explain how we could find the distance. Directly, we are going to multiply 12 seconds by 3.5 because we said that it moves in a constant rate is 3.5. Then 12 times 3.5, you can make it directly with multiplication, or you can use distributive property to find the answer, which is 3.5 means 3 plus 0.5. A proportion. What the meaning of a proportion? A proportion is a statement that says two rates or ratios are equal. So in the previous example, when we calculated the ratio between each two, we found that it has the same or the constant rate each time. For example, 6 mile over 2 hours. When you will simplify this one, it will be 3 over 2. In this case, we divided here 2 to becomes 1, we will divide it by 2, and 6 to becomes 3, we will divide it by 2. So it's a 3 over 1. So those two we can donate it by a proportion. Also 2 out of 4 equal half if you will simplify. The rate of a change is a rate that describes how one quantity changed in relation to another quantity. A proportional relationship between two quantities is one in which the rate of a change is constant, or in which the ratio of one quantity to the other is constant or equivalent. Which means when we simplify the ratio, we found that the ratio each time it has the same ratio. This is called proportional relationship, which is the ratio of one quantity to the other is constant. Second, in case if we have a table like this, Carly earned money by dog sitting. Based on the table, if the relationship between the amount Kylie earned and the number of days a proportional relationship, how we are going to decide that this relation it will be a proportional relationship, how we will calculate it. As I said, we have to know that we have x and we have y. So we said that the second amount, this one, it will be equal y, and the first one, it will be equal x. And how you will find the ratio or how you will simplify it, so you have to calculate y over x, which means you will calculate the amount earned in the dollar over the number of days. So let's start with the first one. The first one, it will be what? It will be 16 divided by 1. 16 divided by 1, it will be equal 16. And second, 32 divided by 2. Third, 48 divided by 3. Then we are going to go through all the table. We will go through all the table and then we found the answer for this question. So write the rates and remember that the rates, it is a comparison. It is the rate, it is a ratio between two different quantities with different units. So we have amount earned per dollar and the number of days. So it's 16 days per one, $16 per 1 day. What about if it's $32 for 2 days? 32 over 2 days, it will be $16 per day. $48 for 3 days, it will be $16 per day. 64 over 4, it will be $16 per day. $80 over 5, it will be 16 over 1. What do you notice here? The rates are all equal. This means that the rate is a constant, so the relationship is proportional. Let's take another question. In this question, we want to know if this relation or the data which we have it in the table show a proportional relationship or not. So what we have to do, we have to find y over x. So let's start to divide. 65 divided by 1, it will be 65. 120 divided by 2, it will be equal 60. We can stop here. Why? Because we can't find a constant number, a constant ratio. So the rate of a change is different, which means the answer it will not be a proportional. So we will check the rates in the table. Is 65 over 1 equal 120 over 2? For sure not. The first one, 120 over 2, it will be equal 60. And 60 not equal 65 over 1. So in this case, we will say that this relation, it will not be a proportional. So we will write the proportional is not, the relation is not a proportional. Let's move to another part, which is how we are going to writing an equation for proportional relationship. Then we decided that the relation represent a proportional relationship. So we will move to another point, which is how we are going to write an equation. So we have a general form, and this general form is y equal kx. So writing an equation for a proportional relationship, if there is a proportional relationship between x and y, we can describe the relation using an equation y equal kx. The variable k is called the constant of proportionality, and it is represented the constant rate of the change or constant ratio between x and y. Let me give you an example. 2 pounds of the cadges costs $19 and 8 pounds costs $76. Show the relationship between the number of pounds of cadges and the cost is proportional relationship. Then write an equation for the relationship and describe the proportional relationship in words. So at the beginning, 2 pounds of cadges costs $19. So we have to find the ratio between them, or the rate between them. Then we will divide the cost. We want to know now 2 pounds. So we want to know 1 pound, it will cost how much money. Then we will divide, or we can make a table here that 2 cadges cost $19. And then 8 cadges cost $76. Then check the rates, the cost over the number of pounds. 19 divided by 2. It will be equal how many? It will be 9.5. And then I'm going to check 76 divided by 8. It will be 9.5. The rates are equal to $9.5 per pound. They are constant. So the relationship is proportional and the constant rate of change is 9.5 per dollar. To complete the table, I want to know here 3, it will cost how much money? It will be 3 times 9.5, because 9.5, this is the rate of a change to get 28.5. The equation y equal kx, where k equal 9.5, so our equation is y equal 9.5x. And that means, because he said in the question, he said, write here in this one, he said, then write the equation. So he's looking for the equation and describe the proportional relationship in words. And at the top, he said, in a proportional relationship, then write an equation for the relationship, describe the proportional relationship in words, and complete the table relating to the cost in dollars to pound. So here in this one, we tried to find at the beginning, we checked the rates. So this is the first point. We will check the rates. He said 2 cadges cost us $19. 8 pounds costs 76. So we found the relationship, and we note that the relationship here is, the rate of change was constant. So the first one, the rate of change was 9.5, and the second one 9.5. which means the rates are equal $9.5 per pound. Then they are constant. So the relationship is proportional. The constant rate of a change is 9.5 per pound. Then we are looking for to complete the table 3. So we said 2 costs 19.5, which means 1 costs 9.5. So if you want to find 3, so it will be 3 times 9.5. So the equation, it will be y equal 9.5x, which is y now represent the total cost and x represent the number of pounds. So in this equation, y represent the total cost and x represent the number of pounds. So whatever the number of pounds, if you want to calculate 8 pounds, 9 pounds, 10 pounds, whatever, you are going to multiply by 9.5 to find the total cost of pounds. So was the part how we can use proportional relationship in our real life. So we said that first we have to determine if the relation represent a proportional or not. Second, we will use it to find the equation. Third, we can use it to find a number as an application about any number of pounds. So we have a fixed equation and we can change the number of pounds up to you if you want to find 6, 7, 3, and so on. How can we use our equation to find the cost of 6 pounds of cages? Directly, I have an equation, y equal 9.5x, and as I said, y represented the total amount of the total cost, and x represent the number of pounds. So we will substitute only in 6 for x and solve for y to find the number of dollars, or to find the cost per dollars in this question. Okay, so what about if you have a question like this? This is another applications about word problem to use it with proportional. For a school field trip, there must be one adult to accompany 12 students. So we have a relation between the number of adults and number of students. 3 adults to 12 one adult to accompany 12 students, 3 adults to accompany 36 students, and 5 for 60. Then we are going to form the table. Show that the relation between the number of adults and the number of students is proportional relationship. Then write the equation. So at the beginning, we will classify. Here, this is y, and at the top, this is x. So we have to find the equation, the ratio each time. So it will be 1 divided by 12, 3 divided by 36, 5 divided by 60. And we will check if this one, it will be the same or not. Then we will solve the question as an application, and I hope that you understood our lesson today. Thank you for watching our video, and please